Every day, billions of conversations happen. Most people never question them. We assume something very simple. Some conversations are useful, some are harmful, and therefore, someone should decide which is which. But there is a hidden assumption aside that belief. The assumption is this, that we already know what a good or a harmful conversation is before the conversation even happens. Ludwig von Mises does not start with institutions. He does not start with laws. He does not start with politics. He starts with action, human action. Because everything we call society is the result of individuals acting. Speaking is action, listening is action, arguing is action. Even refusing to speak is action. And action is always directed toward uncertainty, toward a future we don't know yet. If knowledge were complete in one mind, communication would be unnecessary. No questions, no disagreement, no debate, no learning. But that is not the world we live in. Knowledge is not centralized, it is dispersed. Every individual sees different fragments of reality, different experiences, different interpretations, different errors. Communication exists because no one sees the whole picture. A conversation is not just an exchange of information. It is a discovery process. You don't know in advance what will come out of it. You don't know which argument will survive. You don't know which belief will collapse. You don't know which idea will emerge that neither side had before. Speech is not transmission. Speech is exploration. Now, here's the key point. If conversations are discovery processes, then their outcome is logically unknowable in advance. Not practically difficult. Not statistically uncertain. Unknown in principle. Because if the results were already knowable, there would be no need for the conversation in the first place. This is the core of the problem. Now consider a recent case in Germany. A podcast, Ban Ungeskriptet, publishes an interview with the controversial politician Björn Höcke. Afterwards, a state media authority takes action against the publication. The details of the case are not the point. The question is not whether the interview was right or wrong. The question is deeper. It is structural. Can any institution determine in advance which conversations are allowed to exist? Imagine a regulator deciding, this conversation may happen. That one must not. At that moment, it faces a constraint it cannot escape. It would need to know which conversations will generate new knowledge, which will correct errors, which will look irrelevant today but become crucial tomorrow. But that knowledge doesn't exist yet. It is created only through conversation itself. So the institution is not missing information. It is missing access to the very process that creates the information. This is where Praxeology becomes strict. It does not ask, is the regulator well-intentioned? It does not ask, is the politician right or wrong? It asks something more fundamental. Is the task even performable under the constraints of human knowledge? If knowledge is dispersed and emergent, then no centralized decision maker can pre-select valid speech from invalid speech without guessing. And guessing is not knowledge. In economics, Mises made the same argument. A planner cannot know prices in advance, because prices emerge from exchange, not before exchange, but only through it. Speech works the same way. Meaning is not assigned before interaction, it emerges through interaction. Ludwig von Mises showed that society cannot be centrally designed, because the knowledge required for design doesn't exist in one place. It emerges from action, from exchange, from decentralized coordination. Speech is a part of the same structure. Which leads to the final question. If conversations are the process through which knowledge is created, how could any institution possibly know in advance which conversations must not be allowed to happen? What do you mean about this topic? Please let me know in the comments, and thanks for watching.